Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. How are you all? I hope you are in a good condition. You are fine, even in pandemic situation. Well, we continue our meeting. Now we talk about scientific-based learning activity in language teaching. It means that what activity that we have to do based on scientific in language teaching. The activity here, it refers to the core activities. We are not talking about opening and closing activity, but we are talking about core activity atau kegiatan inti. The core activities, it is really important for you as a teacher later on. It is really important for you to conduct it, to know it, and then you implement it in your class for next time. Well, as you can see in this slide, there are 5 stages of learning activity based on scientific base. The first stage, observing, questioning, experimenting, associating, and communicating. Okay, now let's see what is the activity. What is the activity of observing? Students see, observe, read, and listen to the teacher's explanation or text with or without media, or listening and reading. And then the activity of questioning. Students deliver some questions that are factual related to the observation and define some questions. Hypothesis. This activity will guide by teacher until it becomes habit activity for students. And then the experimenting activity. Students collect data through available resources such as document, object, book, internet, media, experiment, or reading, listening. The next activity is associating. Students analyze the data by forming categories and relationship within them. For reading, students draw conclusions from the result of data analysis, start from the data, reading to writing. And then the last activity, it is communicating. In communicating, students present their conceptual understanding regarding the conclusion they have made in the form of oral and written text, chart, diagram, or picture, speaking, writing. And then the next activities, students begin to write the text they have learned through guided or free writing tasks. So this is the activity of scientific based learning. This is the activity of learning based on scientific approach in language teaching. I hope it will be familiar for you for later on. So what is what activities you should do in observing stage, questioning stage, experimenting stage, associating stage, communicating stage. It is clear in this slide. I hope you know and then you understand it. In observing stage, this is as the first stage of scientific approach. The teacher commonly asks the students to observe picture through the slide maybe, or a picture or another media, and text as it was depicted from the first, second, fourth, and the fifth meeting. While showing some pictures, the teacher also triggers students to brainstorm words related to the natural disaster. So this is the example of observing stage. And then we can see here, the second main point of observing stage is that teacher began to give a model of report, text, in relation to the topic related to natural disaster. The text was about flood available in students' textbook. In this stage, students were asked to read carefully the text. While students were reading the text, the teacher asked them to ask some questions such as, what is the text about? How many paragraphs are there? So this is the strategy. This is the first stage of observing that you can imitate or you can innovate for later on. And you can also relate with the previous materials in observing stage. Now we continue to the second, questioning stage. In this stage, the teacher mainly encouraged the students to answer some questions related to the text about flood. And then in the second meeting, the students were also asked to work pairs to answer the questions based on the hydroponics, for example, etc. And they were exposed with questions the teacher provided. The students also seemed to be able to generate appropriate WH questions. So it means that not only teacher who have a questions, but the students also need to expose their questions to the teacher or to the students. Okay, then now we continue to the third stage, is concerned with experimenting. The students were found trying to collect information to answer the problem posed by the teacher. The problem or case was created in relation to the topic talked about. Let's see here the table. Case posed by the teacher, instruction. This is the instruction from the teacher. Work in pair and try to answer the following questions. What natural disaster often occur in Indonesia? And then there are five questions in experimenting stage. You can read it and you can innovate it for the next future work as a teacher. The next stage is associating stage. In relation to this stage, the teacher commonly asks the students to work in group as it assembles collaborative learning. The teacher asks the students to work in pair and or group so that the students can work cooperatively in discovering the language features and generic structure of the report text. The following excerpt may indicate the way the teacher tried to help the students analyze the text. Let's see here the dialogue. You are learning about flood. The text flood belongs to report text. And then I want you to identify the text flood in terms of introduction, general classification, and closing statement. Tadi apa keterangan general classification? Students, topic. Yeah, topic or what you are talking about. And then you are required to identify the description. The description means sequence. What is sequence? Urutannya. Similar meaning of sequence in bahasa Indonesia. Ya, hal-hal apa saja yang dideskripsikan dari topik itu. How about the closing statement of the text flood? Closing statement. Kata kesimpulan terakhir. Meaning of conclusion in bahasa Indonesia. Oke, jelas. Is it clear? Now, what you need to do is just showing the paragraph that indicates the general classification, introduction, and closing statement. You only show me what paragraph and line. We can see from the dialogue above in associating stage the role of the teacher as a facilitator and guidance in order to help the students to identify and classify the generic structure and the language features from the text flood and hydroponics and draw conclusions or points of the meeting they had just experienced. So here is the role of the teacher as a facilitator and guidance. And the last stage is communicating stage. Communicating stage is used by the teacher to provide opportunities for students to use English as a medium of interaction. In this case, the group took turns to present their report see Appendix 4. Here is the Appendix 4, example of presentation generated by the group in the communication stage. The students hang it in front of the class, while the others who have not taken turns should carefully pay attention and take notes throughout their friend's performance. Okay. Additionally, the process of communication happens here through question-answer sessions. The following excerpt may give example question-answer between students 2 and 3 happen during the presentation in front of the class. You can read it, the communication between students 2 and students 3. Okay, I hope you understand the materials that we talk about. Now you can see here, OO, it means observing at the first meeting, the second meeting, and the third meeting, fourth meeting, and the fifth meeting. It means that one chapter, one chapter consists of 5 meetings. It means in the first meeting, in observing stage, what the teacher have to do in the first meeting and the second meeting. Now I want you to design a lesson plan based on this. Let's see this in questioning. In questioning, in the first meeting, generating questions related to a specific info on the text, and the second meeting, the third meeting, the fourth meeting, and the fifth meeting, the teacher or you need to design your questioning stage, and then experimenting here in pair. Okay, in the first meeting, the second meeting, the third meeting, the fourth meeting, and the last meeting, and then associating, and then questioning. You can see here the first meeting, the second, the third, and then the fourth, and then the last. Okay, I want you to choose one chapter from the materials that I have already share you in the fourth meeting. This one, I hope you can download the material, and then you choose one chapter, and then you design your work in the first stage in observing for the first meeting, the second, and until to the fifth or to the sixth meeting. I want you to make something like this from the textbook, and then you write your name, your academic number, and then you write your chapter, in what chapter your assignment about. Okay, I hope it is clear for you what is the materials, what is the assignment for this meeting. I hope you are able to design the correct activities based on scientific approach in this meeting. Thanks for your attention. If you have a question, welcome. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and comment. Please keep your healthy, stay healthy, and then don't forget to do your work, your assignment. You submit it through Google Classroom, and be on time. If you have a question, you can ask from YouTube or Google Classroom. Goodbye. I think that's all. Goodbye. See you in another time, and we hope this pandemic will go away from us, and then we can see face to face in our campus UHN Medan. Thank you. See you.